again, book 2. Now I'm here with a review for you guys. I recently read this book. It's called The Buddha in the Attic by Julie Otsuka. She is an American author with Japanese heritage. This is from 2011 and it's 129 pages long, so it's not very long, but this actually got more depth than most big books I've read. This book is about Japanese women traveling across the ocean from Japan, different places in Japan, the countryside, city, all kinds of places, to America. They got picture husbands assorted to them, or they've accepted them, I guess. And these women are about between the ages of 12 and 32, if I remember correctly. And most of them leave Japan to escape working in the fields, and also because they are not pretty enough to get husbands or whatever, or they just want to live the American dream. And these men, everyone, I'm guessing, at least what you're told, has sent pictures when they're 20 years younger, or from their friends, of their friends that are more good looking, and those kind of things. And they tell stories in the letters, living wealthy, rich lives, and those kind of things. But most women end up working very hard labor anyhow, and these men are also Japanese men who's already traveled to America, I believe. There is a chapter about childbirth, which is horrible most parts, and a few of these women wish to go back to Japan, but most of them can't or won't. I think even one husband sends his wife back to Japan, which is where this is a very broad story. The story starts before the Hiroshima and Pearl Harbor attack. It doesn't say any dates, and it doesn't actually say Pearl Harbor, that's my guess. So before the war, and there's a few chapters in here, and towards the end people start disappearing due to what I'm guessing is Pearl Harbor, and America just having a change view on Asians. The Chinese gets to stay, the Koreans, but not the Japanese. People start disappearing. There are talks about lists and what to do to get off these lists. Many of the women suddenly get very protective of their husbands and families, which they've grown to love the last 25 years or so. But yeah, the whole country kind of turns their back on every every Japanese family, and they all get deported somehow, which is very frightening to read about. A whole race dissolving from these neighborhoods that you get to kind of know during this read. That was, yeah, it was getting to me in a way. So yeah, this book is not very plot driven. I'd say there's no real action. It's more morality and about human nature and the historical facts. And yeah, these Japanese women coming to America, and about their living standards and what they go through during life before getting deported back to Japan, which is weird. The language is great. I love Otsuka's writing style. I love to read her other book. I think it's called When the Emperor Was Divine. I'm gonna look that up. I found this at a secondhand store just on a whim. I like the storytelling. There's this all-seeing perspective. You don't get to follow any individual up close. You get few names and such, but she writes in a we perspective all the time. There's no me or I, there's names, but usually more names. And she tells like one name and a sentence and another name and a sentence and then back to we. So there's always we are experiencing, which was very interesting. That's what I love most about this book. I think that made the story so much more apprehensible. Like I could just grip it better due to the we perspective. But you do get to know people anyhow, just not any one person. So yeah, and it made me feel like I was there and actually experience these glimpses from their lives, and also feel like I was one of the people turning my back when they started disappearing, which was awful. So yeah, that's what I meant about having more depth than any big books I've read. I did love this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm definitely checking out her other books. And yeah, if you've read this book, please talk to me in the comments. Take care. Bye.